Hi, Jen, Heather. All right. Okay. All right. Are we ready to get started? Okay, so tonight I wanted to do something a little bit different. What I really wanted to do tonight is I really wanted to give some answers to some frequently asked questions. So a lot of times when people sign up as a coach, they have all of these questions and these concerns, and they're not really sure what they're getting into. So I thought it would be better if I let people sort of ask those questions. So it's a very informal call. And basically, I'm going to start by sort of telling you a little bit about me and how I got started. And I am going to sort of share some things that are commonly asked, things that people really aren't sure of and they want to know answers to. But your job is also to share sort of what you have as well as concerns. So let's start off by first, let me introduce myself. So my name is Katy Ursta. In Beachbody Talk, I am a 9-star, 2-time elite coach. So basically what that means is I have created a system of what I call duplication. And it has allowed many of my coaches to have success as well. So it is a rank that is connected to coaches when they start to have their own coaches achieve success. So before I ever started Beachbody, I actually saw an infomercial on TV for Insanity. I actually saw two. I saw one for Insanity and I saw another one for P90X. And I looked at P90X and said, Lord, I can't do that. That is way too hard. And thinking Insanity would be easier, I ordered Insanity. It took me 3 tries to actually be able to do Insanity. Now, mind you, I did it on my own. I didn't have a coach at the time. I didn't know what a challenge group was. And I saw my upline start talking about Beachbody. And at the time, I didn't associate it all together. So I remember one day she had put a post up and it said something about Insanity. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the workout that I finally just completed. It took me, I think it took me like 4 or 5 months to actually complete it. So she messaged me and she said, well, why don't you think about this coaching thing? And I had no idea what it was, but I really loved the results that I was having with Insanity. So she started talking about the Shakeology thing, and I really wasn't even sure what that was. But she basically said, as a coach, what I would do is I would help other people complete the programs. And I thought to myself, well, oh my gosh, I kind of did it on my own. I didn't have any support when I was doing it. That would be kind of cool to kind of support people through the program. So that's really how I got started. I jumped right in. I did not have any background in social media at the time. I had like 200 friends and they were all from high school on Facebook. At the time, I didn't even have an Instagram account or a like page account. No idea what I was doing, but I liked the idea of helping people through this program. I didn't understand what Shakeology was. I didn't understand what the benefits of Shakeology were. I just knew that I liked the idea of helping other people through the program. So fast forward, I was teaching full-time when I started coaching. It was 3 years ago this month. So I had this off time in the summer. And so I really just decided to kind of get my feet wet and get involved with the trainings and learn as much as I could before I had to go back to the classroom because I had this additional time. So I just started learning more about Beachbody. I started learning more about social media and how to invite people and how to talk about the products. And I started really falling in love with the company and falling in love with challenge groups. Now, mind you, I never did one before I ever became a coach. So with all of that happening, I went back to the school year. I became pregnant with my second son, Dom, and I decided I really wanted to extend my maternity leave. And wouldn't it be nice to have a nice, quiet maternity leave? Maybe I can work my business a little bit more. So I pushed for an advancement in Beachbody called an elite coach. And I knew that would allow me an extra income. While pushing towards that goal, it would help us pay off the health insurance because I would lose mine as a teacher. So I pushed for it and I did it. And then in January, at the end of January, I lost my healthcare benefits. And on February 10th of last year, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So all I had at that time was my husband's job, which was one income, and Beachbody, which at the time wasn't that significant. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't what my teaching salary was. So instead of, thinking, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? I just decided to really dive into it. And in 1 year alone, my business grew 366%. So I'm telling you this as somebody who has consistently for 3 years worked the business. And I did it 100% part-time. I did not work the business part-time or full-time. I have 2 baby boys, Nicholas, who is 5, and Dom, who is a holy terror and will be 2 in September. A full-time teacher, and I have a lot on my plate. There is no way that I could have worked Beachbody full-time, and I needed to find a way to work it in a couple hours a day. That's all I had to give. So what I would do is I would get up in the morning and I would do my workout, because I knew that working out for me would I would post my workout. I would share with people what programs I was doing. And then I would check in with my challenge groups. And then after I had checked in with my challenge groups, I would go about my day. I would go teach, and then I would come home, pick up my son from daycare, and I would get dinner ready. And then I would do the bath routine with Nick. And then I would get on the computer and I would work for about 1 hour. And that is what I did. It wasn't that I felt like I was missing out on other things. I simply knew that if I wanted to be successful at this, I had to do a couple things consistently over time. And that is what we call in the Beachbody world the compound effect. And what that means is that it's the little things that otherwise go unnoticed that you do consistently day after day that compound over time. So here I am 3 years later. I'm retired from the classroom by choice. I loved teaching. Many of my coaches know I was a very passionate teacher. I taught 7th grade reading for 8 years. And it wasn't an easy choice for me to leave because I did love my job. I never expected to want to leave. But it came to this point where my business was growing to an extent that I realized I was still a teacher. I was still teaching, but my classroom was slightly different. And not to mention the financial part of it. After 3 years of consistently working the business very, very part-time, I was then able to retire, and I have since tripled my income as a teacher. So I am telling you this upfront because one thing that a lot of coaches don't necessarily do is have you get an understanding of income and the potential with it. As part of the Knockout Brigade, you have an amazing opportunity to be in an organization where you have this opportunity to earn money relatively quickly. So what is Beachbody, right? The other question I get is, what is Beachbody? Really, what do you do? So Beachbody has a philosophy. Their philosophy is to help people achieve healthy and fulfilling lives. And it is that simple. Carl Deichler was actually on a team call of ours. He's the CEO of Beachbody. He's one of the CEOs of Beachbody. And one of the things that I like about our company is we really believe that you start from a place of kindness. And that also really flows very well into the Knockout Brigade. Our job first and foremost is before our own goals and before our own needs, we are asking ourselves, is this going to help other people? Am I guiding them in the right way? And I encourage all of my coaches to kind of be that same way, to be the light for other people. The network itself came about in 1998, which was kind of a very weird story. So 2 CEOs of the company, you have John Congdon and Carl Deichler. Well, they got together and they decided they were going to sell these at-home workouts. And they set up these message boards on Team Beachbody. And at the time in 98, these message boards is how people communicated. So they noticed that on the message boards, people were talking about the programs, and they were talking about getting results, and they were pushing one another, and they were supporting one another. They never met one another. And so Carl was basically like, you know, there's something interesting going on here. What if we set up a network of coaches that help people get through the programs? And we would set it up as a company that is multi-level marketing. And if you don't know what multi-level marketing is, it means that you as a coach or a distributor, you can earn an income by retail, but you also earn an income based on how your team produces as well. So the more people you bring into the organization, the more Beachbody pays you. And I want to backtrack right there, because it's very important to know that when your coaches are, you don't make a cut of any coach's sales. So if, so Taylor's one of my coaches that's on the call. So if Taylor makes a sale, I don't get a cut of any of that. It's not that she comes in and she gets a 25% commission and I get a cut of that. Instead, it's very much that it adds volume to the team that we together as a team are producing, because she has made the sale. And because she has made the sale, Beachbody pays me. Does that make sense? So, and if you guys want to type in the chat section, if you want to give any clarification to what I'm talking about, that's fine too. So what is the actual meaning then of a coach? Like, what do I do as a coach? So a coach is really a cheerleader. A coach is somebody who is in your corner, who is rooting for you, who is, you know, pushing you along, who is motivating you, who is inspiring you to achieve your goals. We help you, you know, find programs that are going to work for you. We make sure that you understand the nutritional benefits of Shakeology. And we do this all through a support system known as challenge groups. So challenge groups for the Knockout Brigade, for the most part, are a system of support and accountability where you combine nutrition and fitness. And as the coach, your job is to, first of all, provide tips, motivation, recipes, meal plans, you know, check-ins for your challengers, and just to make sure that you're there for them. Every coach on the team has access to the documents, where the documents explain, you know, how to run a challenge group. And, you know, the days, each day, what you do or what you can post. But coaches also put their own spin on it. So you might be asking yourself, like, well, what if I don't want to run it through social media? What if I really want to take this to the gyms? What if I really like my gym workouts? Can I still be a successful coach? And the answer is yes, because our focus as coaches, as much as the programs matter, we also know that nutrition is really at the heart of what we do. And so the bulk of our residual, which means ongoing income, is through the sales of Shakeology. So Shakeology is not like anything on the market. And alone in this call, I'm sure you will find people who can give personal testimonials about how Shakeology has helped them, what benefits they have seen from Shakeology. So it is all natural, it's nutrient dense, and it's loaded with over 70 superfoods from around the world that are created and put together to help people really cut cravings. You know, you're going to see reduced cholesterol levels. You are going to see things like change in your hair and your skin and your nails. A common question that I get asked is, do I, as a coach, have to drink Shakeology in order to be successful? And this is such a hard question to answer, because in my opinion and what I've seen, most coaches, yes, they do drink Shakeology and they have seen results with Shakeology. Is that the case overall? No. There are other products that you might want to consider using. But I will say that a lot of people, when they drink Shakeology daily for 30 days, they do see a difference. Do you guys have anything to add about Shakeology that you want me to touch upon with that? And you can unmute yourself if you need to, so please feel free to interrupt me at any time. All right, so backtracking just a second to what MLM is. So as I was saying before, you create teams, and the bulk of your income comes from the teams and what your teams are able to achieve, and how many people your teams inspire, and how many customers you are getting success. So the more success people have in their weight loss or their health journeys, the more success you have as a coach. So there's a couple different ways that you can earn income. So one of the first ways is that when you sell something, you earn a 25% commission. So if somebody would go onto your site, and the sites are provided from Beachbody, you would earn a 25% commission on that sale. Beachbody also bulks together certain products into what we call challenge packs. And challenge packs are the entire toolkit of what a challenger is going to need. So they would get a month's supply of Shakeology. They would also get a fitness program or the 3-day refresh. And most importantly, and in my opinion, the best value is that they get you as a coach. So people don't pay you for your services. You are free when somebody orders a challenge pack through you. But because you are a coach, you take on the role of helping people through the program. You take on the role of supporting them through either their 21-day journey, their 30-day journey, their 60-day journey, and beyond. So in my opinion, that coach, having that coach is really the secret sauce. So at the beginning of the call, when I was saying, it took me like 3 attempts to get through Insanity. And I remember like having headaches in the morning, and I realized, through my coach and after working with my coach, that those headaches were because I wasn't eating enough and I wasn't drinking enough water to go through a program with Insanity. And I didn't know any of that. And had I had a coach, it wouldn't have taken me so many attempts to finish Insanity. So we are kind of the secret sauce to results. There's a reason that there are 300,000 coaches in the organization. And don't get me wrong, we're going to be at 1 million. And I hope you're there with us when we reach that milestone. But 300,000 coaches means that there are 300,000 people that believe in this company, that have seen results, have seen customers get results, have been a product of the product. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? Why wouldn't you want to help people achieve their goals and be inspired by them? So with the multi-level marketing, you really gain success when your team gains success. So my income is a direct reflection of what my coaches are succeeding at and what they are able to achieve. You do get your commission, which is the 25% on your sales. Challenge packs can range anywhere from $35 to $90 in commission, depending on what ones you get. The bulk of your income as you grow would be through the team cycle bonuses, which is where your coaches start to produce volume as well. And Beachbody rewards you for how well your coaches do. There are also available through Beachbody the quarterly bonuses. And oddly enough, tonight is the last date for qualification. So there's quite a few coaches on the Knockout Brigade who are actually working towards qualification bonuses. And that is based on how Beachbody does in sales. So Beachbody actually holds, so there's Team Beachbody, which is us, which is the coaches, and then there's Beachbody. And Beachbody is your infomercials. It's just the website. It's anything that isn't directly affiliated with a coach. So Beachbody takes a portion of all its sales, and they actually pay it out to coaches every quarter as a quarterly bonus, which is something we can talk about sort of as you get further into coaching. But there are so many different ways that coaches are successful. A lot of them focus on volume. I personally help my coaches achieve their goals. And then you have matching bonuses for how well your coaches, your personally sponsored coaches do. So I just want to say, if you are more curious, there are tons and tons of YouTube videos about how coaches earn money. I would actually encourage you to look at a few of them from coaches who are successful. So they spell it out, this is how you can make money. And then also as a coach, because of the work that you do, Beachbody rewards you by giving you a 25% off on everything you get through Beachbody. So that means if you order Shakeology, you get a 25% discount. If you order a workout, you get a 25% discount. So they want you to know they appreciate all that you do and they reward you with that. So I want to talk for a couple minutes about vision, because I want you to know that how you run your business is 110% up to you. As your upline in the business, my job is to make sure that I would help you achieve your goals. So one of the first things you do when you sign up as a coach is you start to talk with your upline coach about what your goals are in the organization. And that upline coach kind of gives you a plan for what you need to do in order to achieve those goals. There are so many different options. You can make this business entirely what you want it to be. You can become a discount coach. And basically that means that you sign up because you love the products. You have no pressure to sell. But if somebody comes to you and says, what's that Shakeology thing you're drinking? You can, tell them what it is and you can send them to your site, and there's no pressure for you to coach them. But you can reach out to your upline and say, I have this customer that ordered. Will you help them? Will you get them into a challenge group? And that's fine. The other options you have are to be a coach who brings in a couple customers every month. And, you just are really focused on commission. You're focused on achieving possibly Success Club 5, which I'll talk about in a minute. Or you want to really build the business and you want your coach to really push you outside your comfort zone a little bit. So we'll talk about the different ways you can do that. There are coaches who do not run this business at all with social media. They send emails instead of getting into Facebook groups. That's totally fine. Other coaches do all of their work in the gym. They go into gyms and they talk to gyms about Shakeology and the benefits of Shakeology. Totally fine. You can do it that way. And then other coaches, which is the bulk of the Knockout Brigade, most of us do run our groups through social media. And I think it's important for you to know that you have options. When I started, I thought I had to be the guru of all things Facebook. I had to make sure that I was posting 3 times a day, and I would just slap a URL up on my Facebook page and, fingers crossed somebody orders. But I learned that, that's not the best way to do it. I put myself out there in a way of, can this post inspire someone? Can this post actually brighten someone's day? And I've learned about social media as I go. I am still learning about social media, and it's constantly evolving and it's constantly changing. But the good news is, as you grow your business and you're using social media, you are going to try things, you're going to fail at things, you're going to give it another whirl. But no matter what, you just keep getting back up. You keep trying. You keep going for it. And then you tell your coach, this is how I think I visualize my business. I am seeing, posting on my personal page, and, I really like writing. So maybe I want to start blogging recipes, or maybe, I love taking pictures and I want to start an Instagram account and start my business on Instagram. You're the driver. So you can tell your coach what you want to be able to do. You have the vision for your business. Share that vision with your upline so that they can help you. The other thing that your upline is going to do is they're going to start setting goals. And I always say to my coaches, is it okay for me to hold you accountable? Is it okay for me to make sure that I'm pushing you? because some people come to me at the beginning and they say, Katy, I just want the discount. I really don't want to be involved with the business. I just love the products. That's all I want. And other coaches have really big goals, and some of them might be financially driven, which is absolutely okay. And if that's the case, I'm going to ask permission if I can hold you accountable to help you achieve those goals. I also want you to keep in mind too your time factor. You know, it took me 3 years to build the business to the extent that I have built it, but keep in mind that I was teaching full time. I had my son Nick at the time, and then my second son Dom, and then I was fighting cancer, and I did all of that, and I still built the business to the extent that I did. So it is 100% doable, but you want to take into consideration how much time do I have to devote to the business? And is there things that I'm willing to sacrifice in order to be successful at the business? And by sacrifice, I mean, does the laundry have to go unfolded for another day? I'm watching Taylor fold her laundry. It might be that, you know, you give up a TV show a night. So instead of watching 4 nights of TV shows, you only watch 2 nights of TV shows, or whatever it might be. And I really help coaches sort of understand, you know, how you can begin to create that vision for what you want your business to be. You know, ultimately, do you want freedom? Do you want, you know, to leave your job? You know, do you want to be home with your kids? Whatever that is, share that vision with your upline so you're on the same page. So as a member of the Knockout Brigade, one of the most commonly asked questions I get is, how are you going to train me? So backtracking to the fact that I am a teacher. I was trained in teaching. I know teaching. I went to school for 4 years for English. I taught for 8 years, and I also have a master's degree. So my thing is I needed to apply that to this business. And so when I think of teaching, I think of you have a skill, you teach a skill to people, and then you scaffold it. And by that, I basically mean I teach, you watch, then you do, I watch, and then you do. So as you know, that's really how we learn best, is we watch people, kind of observe them, see what they're doing, and then we also go into doing it ourselves. And there's that connection, there's that relationship. So how I divide it up and what I have found that works best for our team is 3 separate types of training. When you become a coach, you go into what's called a 30-day Coach Basics. Coach Basics is going to cover the essentials. It's going to be how to post on social media, income opportunity with Beachbody, how to invite people. We use a method called Form. We go over all of that in Coach Basics. On top of that, you'll also have a call at least once a week with the person running that Coach Basics. So you'll be able to get on, much like we're doing right now, and you're actually going to work through some things, and she's going to suggest to you things that you might be able to do, and she's going to go over how to set goals. And we're going to talk about personal development. And in the first Coach Basics, we're going to talk about specifically the compound effect. Then we move and we graduate to what's called the Vitals training. And the Vitals training, which is the second step, is going to be teaching you how to really master the invite. So we use another personal development book with that. And we do a weekly call again, but it's more laser focused on, well, what do your invites look like? You know, how many invites are you doing? Who are you talking to? So those are the first 2 options available to you. And again, I repeat, you know, it's totally 100% your business. So if you want to be involved with the trainings, go for it. If you are like, yeah, I'm going to do it on my own, go for it. I won't be offended. And then the third one is one that's more of an as needed, but you have access to the #1 trainings in all of the company. So often what I do is I invite people to emerging leaders types of groups. So that's another option for you. There are so many amazing options that you have in front of you with regard to training. So my suggestion is, if you're going to be diving into coaching, get involved with the trainings and, just laser focus and say to yourself, how can I improve? How can I be better? How can I learn? How can I take advantage of all the tools that are available to me? Another common question that I get is, do I have to have a completed transformation story? Absolutely not. I have always found that people connect very well to people who have ongoing transformation stories. I, for one, have an ongoing transformation story. I do not ever pretend to have the perfect body. I do not ever pretend to tell people that I never am tempted by chocolate cake, which I always am. I'm just very real and honest with people. I am somebody who is striving to live healthier. I'm not a nutrition expert. I leave that to Shaun T. I leave that to Tony Horton. I am just somebody who's going to support you. My transformation isn't complete. I'll post a transformation from every workout that I do, whether it's Max 30, the Ultimate Reset, T25. I share all of that. So my customers and my potential customers look at me and say, she's kind of like me. She's not trying to say she has all the answers. She doesn't have a six-pack. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you do, that's awesome. Props to you. But I have found that the people that I tend to work with and the people that I tend to attract to the business are people who are like me, who like their chocolate cake and who struggle sometimes getting a workout in or making the right choices. And that's okay, because those are the kind of people that I want to work with because I relate to them. I'm not trying to have all the answers. That's just not my jam. All right. So another question I have gotten is, Katy, how do you continue to find people? So always inviting. And I think of it like this, right? So my first network, my first group of people that knew that I was doing Beachbody were people that I went to high school with and a couple of people that I went to college with. And I remember getting to this point where I was like, that's all I know. I don't know anyone else. But I learned, as you continue to coach, and what I train my coaches to do, is that everybody opens a door to another network. So what I'd like to teach my coaches is that when you feel like you're out of invites, or you don't know who to invite, or you don't know who else to ask, you learn how to ask for referrals, and you learn how to network and talk to other people. You find people in groups or in the grocery store. And I know sometimes it's hard to think like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? I train you how to do all of that. I teach you how to get outside your comfort zone and start thinking like that and start acting in ways that maybe you didn't before. And it is all about that. This business isn't about just getting people transformations. It's about living your personal best and doing, things that originally maybe made you uncomfortable, but something that you're really proud of. I think that's how I would explain how to find people. I also got a couple questions about fears. So people wanted me to address their common fears. And if you want to write them in the chat too, that's fine. The most common fears that I get from people is the fear of objection, the fear of fading out, and the fear of being very public. So I'm going to be honest, and that's what you're going to get from me, is you're going to get objections. You will. If you want to be successful, objections happen in this business. But the cool thing about objections is they're never forever. They might be a knot right now, and you learn as you go. The more you ask people, the more you're just like, it's cool. They'll be back because I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep talking and inspiring people, and eventually they'll come around. And honestly, they do. They really, really do. You almost learn to embrace and go for no. You learn to embrace those objections and know they might happen. And it's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of you as a coach. It really is, they're just watching. They just aren't quite ready to commit. The fear of fading out only comes when you yourself aren't really invested in personal development or in the company. I am always reading. I am always reading personal development to try to better myself, because I know when I'm at my A game, when I am working out, when I am eating right, when I am reading books that inspire me or listening to podcasts that I will teach you about, that we will tell you about. If I hear a good podcast, I share it. If I'm reading a good book, I share it. And if I know that in all those elements of my life and all those spots of my life, I feel good, my business continues to grow. And I see a change in my team when I am confident in that. The third is a public following. I can relate to this 100%. So I was a teacher. I taught 7th grade. All of my kids knew what social media was. They all had Facebook accounts, and they all wanted to friend request Miss Ursta. So I combated that at first by really making my page not public. And I did a lot of conversing through private messages. But I knew that if people went to my social media page, there was nothing that I didn't feel good about. So I would post workout pictures. I would post recipes. I had nothing that I was questionable. There are people that are like, I just can't be public. My job doesn't allow me to have a Facebook account, or I can't really talk on Facebook. There's other options. You know, there's options of going in the way of the gym. There is the option of running Instagram and then connecting with people through Facebook or email. You just become very creative with how you want to run your business. The way I run it, or Heather runs it, or Taylor runs it, doesn't mean it has to be the way that you run it. All right, so I want to go over a couple more things, and then I'm just going to go to the questions. So if you're starting to think of questions, add them to that document so I can address any that you might have. Okay, so the Knockout Brigade, I got this question today. They asked, how is the Knockout Brigade different? And the only way that I can describe it is if I tell you a little story. So as you guys know, I battled cancer last year. And against all odds, I still grew the business with the help of an amazing, amazing team when I shouldn't have. And this past year, I ran for what's called Woman of the Year. And basically what that is it is a 10-week campaign to raise funds for the Leukemia and the Lymphoma Society. And I felt an absolute obligation to do it because I had been given so much from my Beachbody family before that I wanted to be able to give back to the community in some way. A coach of mine, and she is, I think, on the call, or maybe she's not anymore. So she had lost her cousin to leukemia, and we knew that she wanted to have a grant named after her cousin. So the grant was $50,000. We had to raise $50,000 in order to achieve that grant for her family. So one of the things we did as a team was we sold t-shirts. We sold t-shirts that said Team Beachbody, and they said hashtag every sweat matters. The t-shirts brought in $11,000 of that $50,000 goal. $11,000, which means that over 1,000 coaches and people who weren't coaches but just knew of the network were wearing those shirts. So when I think of that, I don't hear stories like that from other organizations because I'm not competing with other teams. I'm not out to get other people. I am truly blessed and honored by everything that Beachbody has given to me. And I know without a doubt that you can be blessed by the company too. But it's this idea of our team, and it's been playing in my mind, and I keep thinking of it, is we hustle with heart, right? So we get business done. We get it done. When we have goals, we go for it. We put 110% into the goals that we're attempting to achieve. They're not always easy. And I am looking at some of my coaches on this call, and I'm going, I know that sometimes they were mad at me because I was just pushing them. And that's my job, is to do that. So I still hustle. I still move fast. But at the end of the day, I always know that my heart is in a good place because I want to help people. We definitely achieved the goal of $50,000. With Beachbody alone, we raised over $35,000. And we raised, I believe, over $68,000 total. Because of Beachbody, we were able to get the grant for Emily. We were able to do that, and we would not have been able to without. So that's something I kind of wanted to tell you, because I just always think if you just start from a place of kindness, I envision my team and I see my team as being made up and created of people who are just kind. And they start from a place of kindness, but they're still willing to work hard. And it's okay if they get mad at me when I push them, because that's what I'm supposed to do too. So from here, I'm going to go over one more thing, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. And anyone who is a coach and wants me to address anything else, please let me know. So signing up as a coach, you have a couple of different options. The first way to do it is to pay a $39.95 fee. When you do that, you have an account, and you are set up as a coach. You pay the $39.95 fee. It's a one-time fee, and you're set. Each month, Beachbody, for getting the 25% discount, will bill you, and it's different by state. It's either $15 to $17. That is going to cover a couple things. We don't keep inventory in our house. Everything is shipped directly from the warehouse. You don't worry about shipping anything. The other reason is Beachbody sets you up with websites that people can order directly through, that you will get the direct commission from. It gives you access to the Coach Online office, which is going to be all of your training tools. And of course, you get that 25% discount. So if you are somebody who's already drinking Shakeology, you're still going to be saving about $15 a month by becoming a coach. The other option you have is to sign up with a challenge pack. And like I said at the beginning of the call, the challenge pack is your essentials to success. So this is going to be your fitness program, or it's going to be the 3-day refresh, your first month of Shakeology, and it's also going to be access to, of course, your upline coach, your challenge groups, whatever it might be. And the last one I want to let you know is if you are military, retired military, or your spouse is military, your monthly fee is waived, meaning you don't pay it, and your sign-up fee is waived, so you don't have to pay it. So if any of those options seem like something that's going to fit for you, talk with the person who invited you here so they can go over it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to bring up that document and see if there's anything. You guys didn't write anything. You guys don't have anything? If you want to, why don't you unmute? Taylor, did I miss anything? Allison, I see you. Did I miss anything? Heather? That's all I can see right now.
No, you did good.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Please feel free to ask questions.
Does retired military also get their fees waived?
Yes. That was just instated. Yeah, they do. Yep.
Katie, isn't it just like retired military only? Like you can't be a spouse of a retired military person?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. But if you're active, it can be the spouse.
Correct. And it cannot be the reserves.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And you send in what document for that, Heather?
It's the DD-214, and any military person knows what that is. Or the leave earning statement, LES. So
Okay.
one of those two.
Cool. Awesome. What else, guys? Do you guys have any other questions? It's Q&A, and I don't know. I hope I answered a lot of them, but I want you to feel really good leaving this call and feeling like I can make a choice. I know where I belong. I know what I want to be able to do.
Katie, we just did a 3-day sneak peek on my team for coaching, and one of the questions that came up was why doesn't Beachbody have any literature? Like, why can't, like, we have somebody who really wants to hold something that says this is the business plan, you know? Like,
Yeah, like a more tangible business plan.
right.
So there are a couple of resources via YouTube that you can check out that they do have, but as for like pamphlets or anything, I really haven't seen any. There is, I mean, you have your, I want to say it too fast, policies and procedures.
Right. I told her they were going green.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all online though, for sure. Cool. What else?
Katie, you were talking about like objections, and a really big objection that I know I had personally was like when it comes to health problems and Shakeology. And isn't there like a doctor's letter in the back office that can be used if you need to show your doctor if you have any kind of like health problems?
Yep, for sure. So, and I know you can probably talk to this a little bit more. You know, Shakeology is not FDA approved, which supplements aren't. So, but there's a lot of things that are FDA approved, but I wouldn't eat. But with that being said, so, and you can talk about it too, when I was diagnosed, I took the packet to my oncologist and explained what it was, and he was okay with taking it. But there is a letter that when you sign up as a coach, you know, if somebody gives you the objection that they're ill, or, you know, they don't know if Shakeology will work for them, a common question we have is it okay for women who are breastfeeding? Those type of questions really can be answered. There's also a website that is called just coachfaq.com, where you can actually just type search a lot of questions regarding everything and anything Beachbody, and you'll find it in there for sure. What else? No one? I feel like maybe I was either successful or you're like, I don't know. I just don't know what to do. Here's the thing, like about that, and then I'll let you guys go. You know, you really, like with this business there, it's scary, you know, when you are like, I really think I can be successful at this, when you're saying to yourself, I really think I can be really good at this. And then you go into it and you start coaching, and you know, you have a lot on your plate. But the thing is, like, I can't tell you how many blessings I've seen from it and how many wonderful things have come from being a coach and just being a part of such an amazing organization and surrounding myself with positive people every day. That in itself made an entire impact on my life. It's just being around people who make me genuinely happy.
I have a question.
Sure.
Allison Hall is my coach. Excuse my voice, I'm losing it. I'm fairly new to this. I'm in 7.5 weeks on the 21-day fix. And
congratulations.
Is there a lot of research with the 21-day fix eating plan and like cancer? I have like a couple friends fighting breast cancer right now. And just being on it this long, I had horribly abnormal blood work. I had horrible liver enzymes, sugar levels, and horrible cholesterol. And just in my 7.5 weeks, I lost 22 pounds. And absolutely all my blood work went in the normal levels.
So great.
And like I see, you know, my friends fighting cancer right now. And I just really think this would be a great thing. Just the eating plan. Like I know you're talking about Shakeology and everything, but it's killing me to watch my friends fighting cancer right now and watching them drink can after can of soda, eating pizza and burgers, and I feel like they're feeding their diseases instead of themselves. And I was just wondering how much research is out there. You know, if I would decide to do this coaching, I'd love to promote it, especially in ways of healthy eating for people fighting these diseases.
So because we are coaches and we're not nutritionists, it's not that I say stay away from it. What I encourage, because I talk to survivors and cancer patients on a regular basis, you know, every cancer is different, and the procedures to help someone and to heal someone are always different. So what I suggest is introducing them to it and having them have an honest conversation with their oncologist about it. But be very thorough and say, this is what has happened to me. This is the difference that I see and that I am feeling because of this. And I believe it will be good for you because of, X, Y, and Z. And then give them a packet of Shakeology and say, give this to your oncologist. When do you go in again? Here are the questions that you can ask your oncologist. And Allison or I can help you actually come up with, things that you can say for her to say to her oncologist that are the right questions to ask. So it's not really that we're diagnosing, and it's not really that we're, it's not really that we're trying to cure it, but, we want people to know their options. So yeah, that's what I would suggest for it.
Okay.
For sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
On that really quick.
Yeah.
You also might want to ask them just generally, just like, I'm generally curious as to what kind of diet restrictions your doctor has given you with your treatment, only because I know that my cousin's treatment was really rigorous and she wasn't allowed to eat healthy, which sounds crazy, but there's like raw food she wasn't allowed to eat because of bacteria that we could rid of ourselves, we could fight of ourselves, but her immune system was so low because of her treatment that like raw vegetables would kill her.
Okay.
So you want to ask those questions. Like, is there any diet restrictions that your doctors have put you on because of your treatment, and questions like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Awesome. Do you guys have any other questions tonight? All right, so you do have a call to action. I am hoping that tomorrow the Knockout Brigade is filled with new faces, and that the next Coach Basics is one that is filled with all of these wonderful faces in here. I hope that this call was super informative, and if you think of additional questions that you have, please let us know. Please also reach out to the person who invited you and give some feedback. If you think of something, question-wise that you didn't get to answer here, make sure that you do, get them answered, and make sure that you feel good about the decision. So I am confident in my business, and I am confident in, welcoming you, because I think it could be absolutely amazing for you as well. Any other questions?
Katy, can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
So I think I just want to say that, like, if you made it to this point and you're on this call, then you have that little voice inside of you already that's telling you it's the right thing, and that you were attracted to us and to our group and our team because we are all like-minded individuals that are positive people. And so you have something that we all have too. And so if you're here on this call, you're on this call for a reason. And so don't dim your own light, don't put out your fire, just build your fire bigger, because if you're here for a reason.
For sure. That's such a good point. I like it. Be the light. I like it. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to stop recording. Please reach out to any one of us if you have questions. We're around for the most part. I am probably going to bed early tonight, though. So I hope you guys all have a great evening, and let us know if you have any questions, okay? Bye, guys.